Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into financial planning, which is really just your personal roadmap to building a better, more secure future for yourself. So let me ask you something, and be honest. Do you ever feel kind of stressed or just confused about money? You're working hard, but you're not totally sure where it's all going, or if you're even on the right track for your future. Well, what if I told you there's a map for that? A clear guide that can take you from exactly where you are right now to where you really want to be financially. And that map, well, that's what a financial plan is all about. So let's start with why so many of us feel a little lost with money in the first place. It's that feeling of uncertainty, right? Of not really knowing if we're making the best choices. This is the core challenge that financial planning is built to solve. Think about it like this. On one hand, our income is limited. It's a finite number. But on the other hand, our needs, our wants, our big life goals, they just keep growing. It's this fundamental mismatch that makes having a plan so important. Which brings us to the solution. So, what exactly is financial planning? If your future is a journey, then think of your financial plan as the compass that keeps you pointed in the right direction. At its heart, it's really about systematically managing all the pieces of your financial life, your income, what you spend, what you save, and what you invest, and making them all work together to hit your goals. It's not just about saving, it's a real strategy for your future. A good plan really just boils down to answering three simple but incredibly powerful questions. First, where am I right now financially? Second, where do I actually want to go? And of course, the big one, how am I going to get there? And the payoff for answering those questions? It's huge, and it happens fast. You'll feel less stressed about money, you'll build better habits, you'll see your savings grow, and you'll start to see a clear path toward real financial independence. Okay, enough with the what and why. Let's get into the how. Here's your 4-step plan for actually charting your own financial course. The process is actually pretty straightforward. It's a 4-step loop. You set your goals, figure out where you are now, create a budget, and then you put the plan into action. But the last part is absolutely crucial. You have to review it regularly. Life changes, and your plan needs to change with it. That's why it's a continuous cycle. Now, I really want to focus on that first step for a second because it is the foundation for everything else. Setting clear goals is everything. Think about it. A map is pretty useless if you don't have a destination, right? And the best kinds of goals are SMART goals. That means they need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So instead of saying, I want to save more, a SMART goal is something like, I'm going to save $5,000 for a down payment in the next 12 months. See the difference? Okay, so once you've set your goals and you've prepared a budget, you're going to come to a really important fork in the road. Your budget is going to show you one of two things. Either you have a surplus or you have a deficit. And it's a pretty simple comparison. A surplus just means you have more money coming in than going out. A deficit is the opposite. You're spending more than you earn. This moment right here is a moment of total financial clarity. So, what happens if you find yourself with a surplus? That's awesome. Now it's time to put that extra money to work for you. And you've got plenty of avenues to do that. You can look at safer options like fixed deposits, where you lock in a specific interest rate, or you could explore things with more growth potential, like mutual funds. The key is to pick a path that matches your goals and get that surplus working. But what if you're on the other side of that fork? What if you're facing a deficit? Look, it can feel stressful, but don't worry. There's a clear way to manage it. You really have two main paths. You could use what's called external borrowing, things like personal loans or credit cards. These are temporary fixes, but they can easily lead to more debt. The better path is to make internal adjustments. That means reducing your expenses or increasing your income. That's the sustainable, long-term fix. And this brings us to a really crucial point. Borrowing money might feel like it's plugging a hole in your bucket, but the best long-term approach is to actually fix the leak. That means reducing expenses and building that financial discipline. So after charting your course and navigating those forks in the road, where does this all lead? Well, it leads to the ultimate destination, achieving financial freedom. Because the results of this whole journey of creating a plan and sticking with it is about so much more than just having a bigger number in your bank account. The ultimate rewards are things you can't really put a price on. It's about having financial clarity, that feeling of truly knowing where you stand. It's about security, so you're not worried about emergencies. And it's about independence, which all leads to genuine peace of mind. At the end of the day, a solid financial plan gives you the confidence to make big life decisions freely, without money being the thing that holds you back. It's incredibly empowering. So that brings us to the end of our explainer, but it's really the beginning of your journey. As you start to draw your own map, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. What's the first bold goal you're going to put on it to change your financial future?